We continue with Congressman Darrell Issa. You have subpoenaed these documents. Have you tried to ask for them short of a subpoena? Because the subpoena is sort of ratcheting up the tension between the Capitol Hill and the Justice Department and the White House. Have you asked for it, and has it been denied, or they're slow to give it to you?
Greta, we have been slow-rolled even when we had subpoenas, but in the beginning we asked. We asked repeatedly. We negotiated. What we found was this administration, both at Homeland Security and at Justice, marks virtually everything as law enforcement sensitive, treats it as classified material, and tries to prevent us from having it. The material we've received redacted, when compared with whistleblower documents unredacted, tell us, in fact, they are deliberately redacting beyond what we believe is reasonable.
Do you have any reason to believe that the Attorney General of the United States knew about the operation, what was going on Fast and Furious, prior to his testimony in May?
Well, he certainly knew the name Fast and Furious.
But the actual operation of what was going on, because that's the controversy.
No, Greta, the controversy is he swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. When he answered, I only learned about it a few weeks ago, he certainly was not answering fully that he knew about the name, knew X, Y, or Z about it, but didn't understand as fully if that's the case. The obligation of candor, the duty of candor, is something that clearly the Attorney General didn't meet in that testimony before that committee and before my questioning.
So you think he wasn't telling the truth?
I said he didn't meet a duty of candor.
What is that? But that's, I mean, if someone's not if you're not being straight, you're not telling the truth. I mean, if you're dodging, if you're asked a question straight up.
Greta, I believe that the Attorney General was dodging at best. Lying, perhaps, but more likely dodging. He certainly knew Fast and Furious. He should have said, I have known about Fast and Furious for months or a year. I did not know certain details. And then we could have had the legitimate follow-up on those details. His duty of candor, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, should have caused him to at least give us the information that clearly I was looking for, which was, when did you know about the operation called Fast and Furious? His answer was only a few weeks ago. That did not meet the legitimate test of a top law enforcement officer who was sworn to give us the whole truth.
Can you give him a little latitude in recognition of the fact that there's a lot going on as Attorney General? For instance, we know what happened with this latest terrorism plot where he's been working on it for several months. I mean,
he knew enough to do a press conference. He knew enough to get a lot of PR. Look, I can't give you a pass as a very smart lawyer. I can't give the top law enforcement officer a pass on candidly speaking before Congress when asked a question, answering. Having said that, he certainly has an opportunity to answer questions fully and completely and honestly. Yes, it will be tougher than if he'd answered them correctly the first time, but he has an opportunity to say, I found out about Fast and Furious at this point. I found out about Fast and Furious more or not more when Brian Terry was murdered. And then the follow-up questions, are, quite candidly, by the Judiciary Committee, not by my committee, have to be, if you knew about Fast and Furious, or you knew about Brian Terry being killed, and he certainly did, why was it you didn't know that these weapons came from Fast and Furious, that this operation had deliberately let these guns walk? And what are you doing to the individuals who reported to you who didn't keep you fully briefed on something in which an American had been murdered? Those questions are questions for the judiciary and for the president. Do you have confidence in the top law enforcement officer if he's so detached that he says, I can't read all this stuff, and oh, by the way, I didn't know anything in detail about something in which an American Border Patrol agent had been murdered, and in fact, plenty of people south of the border had died as a result of these weapons?